So, hey, I'm Greg Poblete. I'm a contributing writer for mxdwn's music section, and I'm here with the front man of the eccentric and incredibly bold gypsy punk outfit, Gogol Bordello, Eugene Hutz. Yeah, first of all, how are you doing and where are you currently in the world?
We're out on tour. We're in Dallas tonight and San Antonio tomorrow, and going towards West Coast. Yeah,
Nice, nice, very exciting. And
yeah.
your music is described as gypsy punk. How did you initially gravitate towards that style, and how does this sound, and how did like when did you start making that like your own, like in putting that into your own music?
Well, the music wasn't just described like that. It's like
Yeah.
I described it like that.
Okay.
It didn't come. It didn't come from ether
Okay.
as a package. There was no such a style.
Yeah.
It was something that came out of a kind of idea that we got to shake it up and kind of create our own new form of punk rock that can, let all the some new red hot form of punk rock that's gonna recharge the
Yeah.
situation. And at the time, the turn of the century time when we were kind of forming, that was the vibe. I mean, you know, it, I was already living in New York, and I was naturally gravitating towards. I mean, I'm kind of pretty good on you know exploring the world and seeing what it's about, no matter where we go. But most of my friends were still immigrants, be
Mm.
it from Colombia or Ukraine or Italy or France, or UK or so we had the kind of scene like that, and I kind of became a DJ, of that circle of people, and
Mm.
the thread that kind of united us all
Mm.
was gypsy music, which I happen to know very well, and there's a streak of Romani blood in my family, and
Mhm.
Romani is a correct word for gypsy,
Mhm.
and so it kind of became this centrifying element,
Mm.
and and I just felt it like intuitively, like this is going to be some original new mix.
Mm.
So I kind of pulled up my knowledge of it and started merging these melodies and ideas of where I came from with all the love for punk and hardcore, and then more great people joined in, and boom, and here we go.
Awesome. Awesome.
You know?
Yeah. And what do you hope like the main message of your music expresses, and why do you think punk rock music is the best mode of communication for this message?
Well, because you know, punk rock is about perseverance and resilience, and it's kind of music about going against all odds,
Mm.
and uh, for for it's about you know it's about your true calling. It's about being true, faithful to your true calling
Yeah.
against all odds. That's really what it's about.
Oh.
And it gives you know it continues to give young people worldwide those vitamins that they're searching,
Yeah.
you know as it did for us. And it's pretty incredible to see that it's thriving. I mean, it's developing, and there's evolution of it, and there's ongoing festivals and networks of punk and hardcore musicians
Yeah.
and fans. And it's awesome, because even when I was getting into it, when I was like 14 years old,
Yeah.
I thought that being like polyglottic and like kind of getting like hold of all the music you possibly can.
Hmm.
And I was listening to metal and new wave and no wave and gothic stuff and industrial stuff
Yeah.
and Nick Cave and Leonard Cohen all at the same time.
Yeah.
And at that time, there was like a fraction of time when it seemed like, punk rock is kind of kind of getting old or something, even when I was 14. Yeah.
Uh,
So now it's like, decades later, it's like, there's not a trace of it,
yeah,
getting old. It's pumping and it's rocking and it's
yeah,
going. The bands, the iconic bands of the uh, of punk are like headlining huge festivals, and it's just
yeah,
like,
yeah. There's
yeah,
definitely a
because
resurgence.
it's great music.
Yeah,
That's why.
yeah.
It's just great music.
I agree.
That's
I
all there
agree.
is to it.
Yeah. Um, yeah. So how do you hope your art paints Ukraine as a country, and what responsibility do you feel like you have to relay the message?
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, there's has become a bit more responsibility about that, for
Yeah.
sure. Because for some number of people, there's probably Gogol Bordello is their only connection to Ukraine.
Mm.
You know, like, we understand that, and so to be able to tell the story of Ukrainians people resistance,
Mm.
and their struggle authentically is important.
Mm.
And so, and so we do. In the same time, you know, I mean, I'm an artist, like, I'm a songwriter and a
Mm.
performer. So I'm not a political expert.
Mm.
And it's also important to acknowledge, like, my my energy will always be focused in a field of art.
Yeah.
And I'm not claiming a far sight or anything of that kind on that matter.
Yeah.
But I do know that we are able to communicate emotional message of Ukrainian people's struggle
Mm.
well, and people understand that. And so we focus on that, just generating resistance, generating generating high morale and support from people who otherwise might have just looked the other way.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm sure this like current tour has been a very significant one, obviously with like the current war in Ukraine, and then also like
Yes,
the
it
back of
is.
shows, like with the pandemic and everything. So like, how has like this recent tour been? And I know you also like recently played in Ukraine. Like, how was that?
It will take forever to process that,
Yeah.
experiences, because it's so mind-blowing to see people going through in such a high morale through such uh, adversities and
Mm. Yeah.
and atrocities.
Yeah.
So, and it's also amazing to see how efficiently they work.
Yeah.
Like, going to Ukraine now, and the way it was all organized
Mm.
logistically
Mm.
was just so incredible that I've never seen Ukraine being so efficient. It's like it, and I think that these new kind of qualities that Ukrainian people are demonstrating, they're there to stay. They're gonna take it in the future.
Yeah.
That kind of higher efficiency and hyper focus, and the unity.
Mm.
And going back to your question about the crowds, on tour, yes, it's been extra charged because I mean, why wouldn't it be? People are sick of shoegazing for the last
Yeah.
through pandemic years.
Right.
Like, who the fuck wants to have another New Year's staring at their own shoes? You know what I mean? Like,
Exactly.
like,
Yeah.
and especially people who love Gogol Bordello and fiery music like that. So
Yeah.
people had it with being indoors, and plus, you know, being together is subconsciously healing.
Mm.
You don't have to analyze it. It's just like,
Right.
you're there, people having a catharsis, people are forgetting about all their troubles, whatever they might be.
Yeah.
People are there, of all nationalities, countries, at our shows, having you know, kind of a dance, collaborative kind of a pan tribal dance around the fire, shaking
That's
it up and shaking it off and
awesome.
letting the steam out, and you know eyes start to glow. And that's what keeps the band from being depleted.
Yeah, yeah,
you know it, it, in our case, the tours might be long, or maybe not as long as in some previous years when we played like 200 years a show, which was
uh-huh.
just absolutely insane. Anyway,
Yeah,
now we just we just have this kind of accord with the crowd where like we give them all, they gave us all.
yeah, yeah,
And it is replenishing. It is.
yeah,
It really is. It feels right, and it feels rewarding. And you know it's also amazing because it's like we're not just like inner city band. We're like
mhm,
London, Paris, Berlin, New York City, LA, San
yeah,
Francisco, and that's like anybody can do shows there.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
We were just like in Tulsa, Oklahoma, like a Tuesday rainy night,
yeah.
sold out, going ham. It's just like
That's
this
awesome.
is this is important to see
Yeah,
because it's a grassroots band. That's why, like,
right.
we never relied on radio play. We never relied on any hype, and hype comes and goes, and Gogol Bordello is just like there. That's
That's
what's inspiring and rewarding.
that's beautiful. That's beautiful. Yeah. Um, so I mean, I guess also in addition to, talking about Ukraine, I mean, I know like there's some people who just have a very limited knowledge, but what do you think people should know about the music and arts coming from Ukraine?
Well, I guess the kind of like a trait that really does stand out about Ukrainian people is that it's a very musical nation.
Yeah.
So, aside from the stars of Ukrainian rock and pop who are touring tirelessly right now,
Yeah.
to exactly doing similar work, and touring far and wide as far as Australia and
Mm,
Argentina and
mm,
here.
yeah.
I mean, last night we went out and supported our dudes from a Ukrainian hip hop band,
Mm,
Kalush
uh,
Orchestra. They're the ones who won Eurovision
yeah.
contest in
Yeah.
so they're working. Um there's another metalcore band from Ukraine, actually one of my favorites, called Space of Variations.
Yeah.
They're coming into their tour begins, I think, next week in the States.
Awesome.
They're pretty dynamic outfit, I would say. And you know besides musicians, is the thread of like music as an essential part of Ukrainian spirit
Mhm.
is already there. If you take, like, I don't know, historical paintings from 18th, 17th century, etchings and all that kind of thing from Ukraine,
Uh,
you will see like that it's a very often occurring character of a warrior class guy
uh,
who
yeah.
is on a horseback with like a musket and a sword
Yeah.
and a musical instrument across the other shoulder.
Oh,
That
okay.
was like way of life. That was like, this is a self-actualized guy.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's why, there was a lot of on TikTok. There was just like avalanches of videos from Frontline
Yeah.
with guys playing musical instruments, kind of having this like tribal telling stories around the fire with a musical instrument kind of moments.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's just so many of that, and it's emblematic of who Ukrainian people are. You know.
Yeah. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. They just have a lot of fight in them, and I feel like I don't know, it's a very beautiful thing. Yeah.
Yeah, music heals, man. It really is.
It's true. It's very true. Um, yeah, I wanted to talk briefly about the new album, Solidaritine. Um,
Absolutely.
yeah, I mean it's head to toe rock anthems, channeling that punk ideology. But I want to know, like, what was like the creative mindset you were in when writing this new album, and how much do like world events inspire your writing?
All comes out all straight out of the world events, and a bit of like, reflecting, but
Mm,
not reflecting for too long.
okay.
Reflecting and going in a studio.
Mm,
I mean, we coming from years of like political turmoil and pandemic, and now this absolutely horrendous attempt of
hmm
invasion of Ukraine. So
yeah,
those are not local matters; those are like worldwide matters.
yeah.
And so you know, I mean, we recorded the album. We tracked it in 4 days. We
Mm,
booked 5
yeah.
and left in 4, and then mixed for about. Had a lot of creative fun mixing with Walter,
Mm,
uh, our buddy Walter,
yeah.
Walter Strafels
Yeah.
from Quicksand, Gorilla Biscuits,
Yeah. Yeah.
Youth of Today, Rival Schools.
hmm
He even played in Warzone,
Oh,
one of the
awesome.
greatest New York City hardcore bands.
Awesome.
There's a lot of great songwriting there. So, you know, working with Walter was kind of probably most fun I've ever had co-producing a record, because there was some of that energy of like we were just starting a band, like
Yeah.
we're 14 and in garage,
Yeah.
you know, because of, I guess, of a lot of shared, um, love for punk rock and hardcore, and a lot of common references.
Yeah.
And also Walter is a great songwriter, and that's kind of where Gogol Bordello's knack really rests. It's a little bit more subtle makeup in Gogol Bordello than some people realize. I mean, you can have all the energy in the world you want, and
Yeah.
go absolutely ham on stage. All of that will last about 15 minutes at the most if you don't have songs.
Sure.
You
Yeah.
know, like that just it doesn't work without songs.
Yeah.
And songwriting has been always like kind of my hyper focus, and especially writing for songs, knowing that these songs will not be radio material,
Okay.
most likely, even though it leaks in here and there, but it's like you gotta write songs that gonna like power play and get people on the same page. Us up,
Yeah.
like like you're rolling in somewhere and on the festival say that nobody knows who you are,
Yeah.
which back in the day was the case.
Yeah.
And you're playing daytime, where like there's the lights and the dusk magic ain't working for you. It's like it's not coming. It's still
Right.
like 3 hours away. So yeah, you gotta get there first. You gotta get there fast with
Yeah.
people. So you squeeze out all the water, let
Yeah.
all the bullshit go right into the hook. You know what I mean, like,
Yeah.
and whatever storytelling, uh gist you're trying to communicate, like
Mm,
make it make it just shortcut it
mhm.
through the woods,
Yeah.
take a shortcut through the woods.
Yeah. Just get
And that's
straight to the
kind of
point.
like the Gogol Bordello vibe. Like
Yeah.
it's just like
Yeah. Just get
get
straight to
there
the point.
together and fast. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah. Exactly. I mean, yeah. But I mean, it sounds like a very like at least like the new album sounds like a very refreshing experience from what we've like said, and it just seems like I don't know, even just this new tour, it seems like a very communal experience, and that's a very beautiful thing. Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, people, it's extra charged for sure, because a lot of people around the world are very frustrated, and there's a lot of social unrest, and music that brings people together and demonstrates to them that there is a experience of um communal, blatantly, obviously communal dancing around the fire, in this
Yeah.
case around musical fire, it leaves them with a recharged hope that, we can get some shit together done and work out whatever needs to be worked out, and that, if that music is positive, or even if it's paints itself as negative,
Yeah.
but I mean, there's a lot of bands that kind of do like, hey, like this is power of negative thinking, but underneath of it, it's very positive. Those are just like
Sure.
different masks that art takes on,
Yeah.
I think a lot of the bands that kind of power plow that super dark kind of edge, not all of them, but I think a lot of them, they're coming from a place of resilience and resistance, and essentially it is positive.
It's good. It's good. Yeah. Well, I know you have, I know you're very busy, but I have one more just, to round out this interview. But yeah, what do you see like the future of Gogol Bordello looking like? And, how do you feel um, like, do you ever feel like there's going to be like an end to Gogol Bordello sometime?
um that, those kind of thoughts, they never cross my mind.
Yeah.
It's like you just gotta live, man. I mean, it's like we're living the life and it's constantly evolving, and you know the thing is that whoever saw Gogol Bordello, they never saw it twice the
Mm.
same. I mean, it's a very kind of a living being, collective,
Mm.
and over the time, several people come and go, and that's also part of life. I mean, you know what I mean? People move on to start families and um, chime in on other priorities.
Mm.
But the core of the band is kind of, includes all the fresh blood that comes, and in a way, it's kind of like this punk rock, you know, hockey team.
Yeah.
Like, the members that sometimes left a while ago will come out and do a reunion tour,
Yeah.
or if we're in town, come out and play several songs.
Yeah.
So that's kind of ongoing thing. It's really cool, dynamic in that way, because like, you know, like when Pam, who was from our original lineup, when she comes out, to perform with us, she like saves all up for it.
Yeah.
It's like talking about fireworks.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So it just seems like a very like revolving like type of band where it's like there's not like one set or it doesn't look like one thing. It's just always changing.
I think that's the secret of its, well, secret. It's
Mm.
blatantly wide and open. It's
Yeah.
a part of its kind of longevity. It's you know, like Corey Kingston came in on the drums, several years ago. Who was great friends with uh, Oliver Charles and Fredo Ortiz, our previous drummers.
Yeah.
And I mean, those guys kind of grew up together, and
Mm.
they are like brothers.
Mm. Yeah.
In the same, in a similar pool of influences. You know, lots of kind of punk, in essence, but very
Mm.
wide palette of
Yeah.
musical influences from ska to jazz.
Yeah.
And those are like very sophisticated players. But I love the idea that that they're like three brothers on their own.
Yeah. Yeah. That's cool. That's cool. I mean, yeah, I mean, is there anything else you want to share with the people over mixed down? Yeah.
No, I mean, I think that I mean, thanks, thank you for having me. But
Yeah.
I always prefer let the work do all the talk.
For sure.
I mean, when people hear the album, it's kind of pretty. Um, it's kind of paints a picture where we at fast, and
Mhm.
it's a very diverse picture.
Yeah.
Um, we gave it all. It's pretty Walter gave it all. We had a lot of fun, and it's a purposeful kind of a, if I would ever say that, but like it's a kind of was fun with purpose, because we were like, hey, listen, like we feel like we have what it takes to levitate above the insanities and hardships of life. So not everybody does, and that's kind of what the artist gift is, I think, to if they can do that and can take other people along with them, to the point of having their eyes sparkle and kind of forget all their troubles for a while and just blow the steam and be cathartic, and then go home and reflect more on the lyrics and feel more unified with people of goodwill that they met at the show. It's great.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Yeah, well, that's all I have
So
for you.
that's what it's for. That's the music we make.
Yeah,
I don't know what else to say. I don't know what else to add to it. That's what we do.
no, I think that's a perfect way to end it. Yeah, but I really appreciate you talking to us.
Yeah, man, absolutely. Likewise.
Yeah, it was an honor. Congrats on the album, and yeah, I really wish you the best on tour. But yeah, thank you again. I hope you have a good day and take it easy.